What is good, call builders? Hope you guys are having an awesome night. It is 6 o'clock p.m. here in Toronto. If you're tuning in live, comment below and let us know where you're tuning in from and what time it is. And make sure to drop a hashtag call as well. I like to know who's tuning in because Facebook doesn't always give us that information. So, for those who don't know who I got by my side over here, it's my man, Doug Boughton. Some of you, especially if you're involved in the ClickFunnels space, might be familiar with him. He's been around for a couple years. He's won many different awards. He's won, the Two Comma Club, the Dream Car Award as an affiliate, and he's built a banging community of his own. And I'm really excited to have him as one of our speakers for the Cult Builders Live Summit. So again, I see some of you dropping in. If you have not already commented, what's up, Josh Smell? Thanks for dropping a comment. Just drop that hashtag cult in the comments. Whether you're watching this live or on the replay, let us know where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you right now. And don't forget also to smash the heart reaction on this video so that it gets some traction on Facebook and more people here in the group can see. So basically what we're going to do on this session is the same thing we've been doing on all of our little teaser sessions this past week. And we're going to dive a little bit into Doug's story, how he got started online, how he got to where he is now, because he has a very interesting story. I remember back when he got started a couple of years ago, and he just torpedoed in terms of his growth and building his community and all that. So you're going to get to hear that story, and then you're going to get a little bit of a preview of what he's planning to cover for us during the Cult Builders Live Summit. He's going to be sharing a unique strategy that he's used to build and monetize his following that I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy when you come and attend. So without further ado, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Zeky. What's up, everybody? Good to see you all here.
Again, drop those comments below, hit that heart reaction so we know who's here. So while we're waiting for those comments to come in, man, how about you introduce us a little bit? I know it's been a couple years. I don't remember which year it
Yeah.
was when you got started initially. And I know before I even met you, I think you were in the space for a while because you had an agency in the past. There were a lot of different things that you tried. So why don't you walk us from before you got started in your whole entrepreneur journey,
Sure.
where you were, what motivated you to get started, and then how things got from there to where they are today.
Well, fun fact, everybody. My first ever speaking appearance on a summit was Zeky's summit. This was a while back when we first got started, or at least I first got started full time at this. And we met just through similar groups and everything, especially the ClickFunnels world. And yeah, it was 2018 when I first started finding ClickFunnels. I did have some experience, I guess you'd call it experience of failing forward over like an 8-year period up to that point. Back in 2018, I was working full time in a restaurant, serving and bartending, and I was just trying to find a way to pay off my student loans. So I found this internet world and opened up all these doors for me. And I was hungry. I was really trying to get out of the restaurant business. If anyone here has worked in the service industry, you know it's hard work. It's a lot of time on your feet, away from family. You're missing nights and weekends and holidays. And I turned 30 years old, and I'm like, I don't want to be waiting tables anymore. Like, nothing's wrong with that, but I knew I was meant for something more. And I, again, was going through all kinds of things online, network marketing, affiliate marketing, door to door, all these things just to try to find a way to get ahead and pay off my student loans because a server job wasn't cutting it. I was paying about $1,000 a month, most of it interest only, all for something I never even obtained. I never even got my college degree. So I had this burden that originally was about $56,000. And when I dropped out of college for not being able to get another student loan, go figure, I couldn't get a cosigner my senior year. So I'm trying to find a way to pay off this debt. And then I find out it's $114,000 with accrued interest. So you could tell at the time I was hungry. I was working restaurants, sales jobs, trying to make it in the online world. And yeah, I stumbled upon a few years later, ClickFunnels. And I started putting together the pieces and trying to figure out what can I do. I've learned a lot through the ventures that I've tried to succeed at. And I started looking at the restaurant industry in my home state of Connecticut. And I started to build their website and their funnels. And I was running campaigns for birthdays and anniversaries to get people in the doors. And I built up that clientele to 8 different clients that I built this for, which is really cool. I guess in a way it wasn't so cool. So I quit my job November 30th, 2018, which would be 4 years in like 2 weeks, which is crazy. But it wasn't so easy. By the new year, I had gone negative in the bank. Clients stopped paying. They're like, oh, we'll pay after the holidays, and I was chasing checks. And I asked myself, what do I actually like about this model? And the only thing that I loved was that recurring commission from their ClickFunnels account that I signed them up with. I had eight different people using ClickFunnels back then. I'm like, how the heck do I get to 100? How do I go get one of these Dream Car Award things? So I started funnel hacking all the Dream Car winners at the time. They made it really easy. There was a website with all their names. And I found out they were all building communities. All of them had a Facebook group. They're all building their cult, right? And I'm like, how can I go do that thing? I don't know that much. What am I going to talk about? So I just looked for the gap, and I realized that, conversions is connection, and the people that connect with their audience the most are having the most success online. So I just wanted to go out there and build something very valuable to my audience to get to that dream car status. If you guys aren't familiar with ClickFunnels, you have to refer 100 users to the software to get that Dream Car Award. And I put together a course that I probably could have sold, and I gave it to all my new group members absolutely free for just joining my community. And within 66 days, I got my first 100 signups. It was paying me about 5 figures a month, passive income, and I was underway. And that was really how I really got into this space. And then it's just kind of evolved over the years from that moment.
For sure. Cool. Awesome. So you got started in like, when did you get started with the whole journey, you said?
Yeah, full time was January 2019. But I
And
had
when
like
did you start
dabbled.
initially before then when you were dabbling?
I guess you could say 2014, I joined my first network marketing company, and I started learning about offline marketing, door knocking, and then I eventually found websites and started learning the tools to not have to go and do the offline thing.
For sure. And I remember we chatted about that before, by the way, because I got my start in network marketing at the same company that you did too, ACN,
ACN.
way back in the day.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
that's interesting, man. A lot of us have very similar stories. So that means you had like 5 years that you were going at it before you were actually able to get to the point where you can leave your job. And then now,
Yeah.
obviously, since getting to that point, you've grown your business massively beyond that. What would you say was the biggest differences in your journey over the course of those years
Mm.
where you were not able to really get so much traction versus these past couple of years where things have been blowing up for you?
Yeah, it's so I remember being in ACN, the speakers, you need 7 streams of income. Every millionaire has an average of 7 streams. I'm like, oh, I gotta go do 7 things. And that was like the worst advice. And I followed that advice for years. And there's 2 things that really took off for me. And when I look at how did I go from full-time waiting tables to negative in the bank, 6-figure student loan, to paying off that student loan very quickly once I went full-time in this space, it came down to number one, just getting very clear on one direction. Even though I had no products of my own, I found something I loved, something I could really stand behind, that I found relatable, that I could earn with, and I was aligned to, and it was going to be around long term. So it was Stephen Larson inside of the One Funnel Away Challenge that said it. He's like, if you have multiple ideas, like what's the one thing you could talk about for days, or that you're interested in learning about? And for me, I was at the time, I was dabbling in a few things, an agency. I also had a credit repair company I was trying to get off the ground and run webinar traffic to sell a course. And then, of course, ClickFunnels. And I'm like, the answer is definitely ClickFunnels. So getting focused on one thing, even if it's not your own tool or product, like go and find something relatable and real that you could earn with, that aligns to your story, that's gonna be around long term. And just focus. And even if you're like, I know like my first program was called Sales Funnel Mastery, and I didn't want to be known for sales funnels. I knew there was something else, but I had to get like present with what I was doing to let the next thing show up, right? So I was just patient and kept going, learn to enjoy the process. And the second thing was community. Absolutely. I'm grateful for the community I've built. And if it wasn't for that original Facebook group that I started, we would not be standing here today. It's how I met you. It's how I met all my friends in this space. Now in real life, a lot of them too, which is really cool. So I would say those are the main 2 things. And just not giving up, obviously. It's like, just keep going. Know that what you're building right now, whether it's great or if it's not great, you're building a story that you're gonna be able to tell one day that's going to lead to the next thing if you just stay here and stay present at that thing.
For sure. For sure. Another thing that I'm interested in hearing from you, man, and I know this is a journey for a lot of us, because for me too, I got my start in affiliate marketing. And then eventually I branched out to doing my own stuff, building my own brand, products and all that. And I know you had very similar experience in your journey. How did you find that going from that transition? You started selling ClickFunnels. You built a whole following around that and around sales funnels. I know your group, I remember it was initially focused around different ways of monetizing ClickFunnels, but then you pivoted and you evolved your brand beyond that. What was your experience like with that, and how did you find it? Did you find it challenging? Did you run into any difficulties with it? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it's all a challenge sometimes, but it's like a challenge I love because I came from working 7 days a week, sometimes doubles. Like that's hard work. That's physically hard. Um, for me, I remember the pivotal moment was I did really well with the ClickFunnels affiliate thing. I became one of the top people on the leaderboard for the One Funnel Away challenge. And it wasn't because I was no crazy expert. It was because most of the big dogs in the space back then promoted it for a week and they were out. It was a 6-month competition. I was at it every day promoting it. And I was able to rise at the top of the leaderboard. And I won a trip to ClickFunnels headquarters and got to spend a weekend with like Steve Larson, Colton Crottinger, Alex Elliott, Melissa Ricker, a lot of these top affiliates. And I remember Steve Larson going up in front of the room. We had to go share our biggest takeaways from that event. And he basically just ripped apart affiliate marketing. He's grateful for it because that's how he got started. But he said, if you have an affiliate business, you don't have a real business. Like my affiliate pays for all my business expenses and my team. I'm like, well, that's great. And now I feel like I don't have a real business. And I remember going last, they wanted me to come up and share. And I'm like breaking down in front of Russell and his team and all these people. And like, I felt lost. I'm like, you know what? I know that this isn't the only thing for me, but I know I'm here for a reason. And I got this experience and I just started paying attention. He told me, pay attention. You're having the passion meltdown. It happens to everybody. Just stay focused and listen to questions that people are asking you when you get home. And I did that. And people were asking me like, how the heck did you get the ClickFunnels Dream Car Award? How did you get to the top of the leaderboard in the thing that you didn't have a big audience for? And I started thinking about, how did I do it? And it went back to group growth and building a valuable asset, giving away for free, just giving free value out there. And I started teaching my process where I would help people build a community, build a free asset that they could give to people without feeling like they have to be an expert, and even partner with other experts I could teach in that freebie. And then I would just really took that to the next level where I got more experience and more results. And I started making a paid version of that course. And I sold that course for about 1.5 years at 997. I know the marketer world loves the 997 products, but that made me my first million in revenue online, which was crazy. So just kind of pay attention to the questions that you're being asked. Look at where you came from and what do you feel proud of accomplishing? And how could you take that and help others who are a step or two behind you?
For sure. Cool, man.
Yeah.
And okay, so for your session for the summit now, I
Yeah.
just sent out the topic list and the timings to everybody this morning. So people have gotten a little bit of a teaser with the headline, and your session is focused around your unique approach to challenges. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more before you talk about what we're gonna gain from you from attending your session, your summit session? Can you go a little bit more into the story behind that? How did you even come up with this? Because I know you were doing challenges for a while. When you started challenges, I don't think you were doing them in the gamified type of format that you
No,
do now. So I'm interested in hearing how that all came to be.
man, you asked such good questions.
I
um,
appreciate
it's so good. So yeah, okay. So the first time I did a challenge, I again looked back at what I was proud of. I was proud that I got the Dream Car Award. I'm like, man, if I could do this as quick as I did, I know I could help people do it within 6 months. So I launched a 6-month program called Dream Car Accelerator, teaching people how to go from 0 to 100 affiliates with ClickFunnels. And I launched it with a 5-day challenge. I heard about other people doing it. I saw a lot of people starting to take this model and run with it. And I hosted this 5-day event and I enrolled 34 people at $3,000 and had my biggest month ever. And I couldn't even believe it. And I realized it really helps people collapse time and shorten their sales cycle, because when you get in a container with somebody for 5 days and you get to deliver value, again, just leading with value and showing them the process. So if they could believe in the process, they could trust themselves that they know they could do it and they could do it with your help. And then you overcome all their limiting beliefs around that in those 5 days, and you make them an offer that will help them go to the next level. It became an easy yes for a lot of people. And I did these challenges, not maybe once a quarter, I would say, for the first time doing them, like every few months. And when I looked back at my Stripe report, I was like halfway to the 2 Comma Club award. I was about $500,000, and FHL was about 6 months out. And I'm like, I want to hit the 2 Comma Club award for FHL. So I doubled down. I look at my stripe chart, and all the spikes were the months I did challenges. So I asked myself, like, what do I need to do a challenge every single month? So I just went into it and I focused on fulfillment, getting some automations in place and marketing so I could run an event every month and be able to fulfill and then do it again repeatedly. So my first few challenges, 14 of them were all free. I did free challenges. And the biggest thing for me was I was putting so much energy into these things, and I was getting maybe a 10% show up in completion rate. So if I got, let's say, 1,000 people to register, only 100 people were there by the end. And I knew I was missing a massive amount of conversions because of that. And that's when I started testing things. I'm like, what if we added a contest? What if I gave away a scholarship every time I do one of these challenges? And I started putting people in a way to get points. So they have to show up and do certain things in the challenge to get points. And that's when things went from like 10% to like 50% of the people signing up were finishing it. And then I noticed the people that were buying the offer at the end were the ones who introduced themselves in the community. So I made that a new requirement to even be part of the contest, to introduce yourself, put yourself out there. If we're gonna be business owners, we gotta be able to go live or upload a video and start publishing. From there, I started looking at interesting ways that they could do daily tasks to get momentum. And we were getting testimonials in the challenge, referrals, all the things people want. And I realized we started conditioning people in a 5-day container, strangers into clients in 5 days that became your best clients or my best clients at the time, because they would, again, start doing these things that we all want our clients to do. And I just doubled down on that. The next step of this was, I remembered back in grade school when we would be put in teams, right? We're more likely to do things for a group of people or for others than we are for ourselves sometimes, where I might stop participating in a challenge if life gets in the way. But because I have a team that we're all trying to get to the common goal of the grand prize and my points affect their points, now I'm realizing I need to show up more. So I implemented a team strategy that took us from the 50% completion mark to about 85 to 90% of the people that take our challenges now finish the challenge and they get results and they're doing all these things. So I've created a resource for all of you that I'll be sharing with you during the summit that will help you take these strategies. And as complex as they sound, after doing my 30th live challenges coming up, I've done a lot of things. I've tested a lot of things, and I've made a lot of systems in place that I could actually show you in the summit and gift you our challenge toolkit. So I'll be sharing that during the summit for all of you.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate that. So obviously you've been doing this for a while. For someone who hasn't hosted a challenge before, even a free challenge without all these moving parts, the gamified elements,
Yeah.
and all that you're talking about, how challenging would you say, how challenging or not challenging would you say it is realistically for them to get up and running
Mhm.
using your approach to challenges that you just
Yeah.
talked about?
Yeah, by the time you guys leave the summit training, you're going to have your topic for your challenge, the name of it, the agenda's planned out. You're going to know what you're selling at the end. Even if you don't have your own product, you'll come up with the offer, and I'll show you how to position it to make sales one-to-many without sales calls, and do it imperfectly. Like I say, my first challenge was like laugh. It's a laugh looking back at it. I literally just went live in my group for 5 days. There was zero structure, zero strategy. I just showed up and talked for an hour for 5 days, and that was it. So I've seen people come in, and as long as they build out everything that I'm going to teach you during the summit, you could leave and launch your challenge that next Monday and be well underway. And then you're going to learn what worked, what didn't I like, and let's start doubling down on what's working. And then you could start reinvesting some of those resources that you're earning into hiring a part-time assistant that maybe works an hour a day during your challenges to help you implement a contest. And it becomes very systemized, where my ultimate goal would be for you to show up and just teach the slides you've already built once, and you could just repeat this process over and over again. So first time, just do it imperfectly. So I'll show you a couple strategies, especially for the people doing it the first time.
For
And one
sure.
more thing, I'm sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. I get excited about this stuff.
I mean,
Um,
you're the man of the hour right now, so talk all you want.
so yeah, the thing about difficulty, right? I look at what's difficulty. I just did the math today. I've got this spreadsheet with all the courses and masterminds I've ever bought. I'm a big investor myself. I've spent over $250,000 in masterminds, coaching programs. Every single one of them said, Doug, you got to build a sales team. You have to scale it. You have to hire people to do your sales calls. And I saw what my mentors, like Russell Brunson at higher level, were doing. They don't do sales calls. They just have events and they make the offer. Russell sells a 25K and a $50,000 offer one to many in his events. So I'm no Russell Brunson, but I'm like, I'm going to try that. So when you think about all the work of cold DMs and setting calls and wasting all your time on sales calls with professional excuse makers, like that's a lot of work. To put together a challenge that takes you a few days that you could repeat every single month, it's a little uncomfortable, but you're going to get a lot better every time you do it. And I promise you, it's so much easier than what most people are teaching out there. So that's just something I want to leave you all with.
For sure, man. For sure. And that's a good point in general, a good principle that applies to everything. Because a lot of times people try to tell you there's only one way to skin a cat, but there really isn't. However you want to build your business, you don't have to jump on sales calls. Like me personally, and that's something I share with my audience all the time. I don't enjoy doing sales calls, so I don't jump on sales calls. Even my sales conversations, I do them in the DMs.
Yep.
So it really depends on how you want to go about building your business, right? Not knocking people who like to do that stuff, but there's so many different ways to go about things. That's awesome, man. Cool. So what I'd like to invite those of you who are tuning in, by the way, because I see some of you are joining us while we were talking. First off, if you haven't let us know that you're here already, drop a hashtag cult in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what time it is for you, and also smash the heart reaction so that other people can see it. But what I would like to invite you guys to do while we're still here, so we're about 20 minutes into this live, drop your questions in the comments. Obviously, come attend the session. Come and attend Doug's session during the summit. We're only a week away, and I sent out the full schedule earlier today, so you guys should have that in your inboxes. So come attend his session live, and you'll have time, if time permits, to ask your questions live and all of that after the training. But if you guys want a little bit of a sneak preview now, or you want to ask anything about Doug's story that he just shared with us a moment, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll hold him hostage for a little bit while we have him here before he leaves. But if there's no questions, then we'll end the session early. Well, I mean, we'll clip it there.
And
So I'll give a little bit of time.
I'll speak to that too a little bit. My first challenge, I really sold an affiliate offer. Even now in my challenges, I have my own programs, but I've sold at all price ranges. Some of the challenges I've done, I've sold a product under $500. I've sold $1,000. I've sold up to $15,000 in my challenges, one to many without sales calls. And even like affiliate marketing, I still plug in tools and resources that I use inside of my challenges. So it doesn't matter if you're an affiliate marketer, a coach, a consultant, done for you service provider. Like this model, I've seen people do it for the brick and mortar. Like no matter what business you're in, challenges will work for you too. So I'll dive a little bit more into that too during our summit session.
For sure. Awesome, man. I'm excited for sure to come attend your session. All righty. So we'll give a little bit of moments in case anybody has any questions. Let's see what Sonia said here. No question for me, but want to say I'm excited for your session. I can't wait for the resources you are offering us. Yeah, I just want to give it back to you, man. I really appreciate that. You're hooking everybody up with some tools to help them hit the ground running. If you guys just joined on and you didn't hear that, not only are you going to get full out training from Doug during his session, but he's going to hook you up with his 6-figure challenge toolkit, I believe is what it was called.
Six-figure challenge toolkit. Yeah. So I'll give you some tools. One being a checklist of everything to do before, during, and after the challenge, just to keep track of everything. And then also a tracking sheet of all the attendees and tracking what they're doing in your challenges. So that way you could follow up after the challenge is over with. And then there's a funnel. There's all kinds of things in there that I'll be putting together for you.
Awesome sauce. Sounds good. All right. So I see we got another question that came in. Shelly, thanks for tuning in. Shelly asked, what platforms can we find or follow you on aside from the summit itself?
What's up, Shelly? I'm a Facebook guy. I'm all over Facebook as far as like my profile and a community. I've dabbled with like the TikTok thing and Instagram, but I don't do much there. I guess I'm comfortable on Facebook, but I love it. And it's done me well. So Facebook.
Cool. Awesome. And by the way, anyone who's tuning in on the replay, I will, after we wrap up this live, I'm going to tag Doug in the description of this video so you can go and add him there, follow him on his profile. He does have a Facebook group too. It's a big Facebook group. I don't know how many people are in there now. I know it's thousands of people. So you can go join his community as well. Where can they find your community? What's the link for that?
Yeah, it's right in my profile in my bio. It's called the Content Creators Community.
Cool. Sounds good.
Thanks for asking.
Yes, sir. All right. So I think that's all the questions that I see
Cool.
here in the comments. Now, for anyone who's watching the replay, feel free to drop your questions below. What I would recommend, though, is jot down in your calendar the time for Doug's session. If you enjoyed what we talked about so far today and you want to get the full out training, come join the live session. You can always catch the replays if you bought the VIP access, but it's best to attend it live, even if you plan to watch it later, because then you'll have the opportunity to interact live, to ask questions, to get more out of it from the actual live experience. So if you haven't already grabbed your free ticket for the Cult Builders Live Summit, just look in the description of this video and you'll see a link to grab it. It takes you 2 seconds. We are getting started on November 14th. So we are officially 6 days out from the event, pretty much a week. And we're going to be getting started. We got 16 badass speakers who are going to lay it all on the table for you. So it's going to be an exciting event. So with that said, Doug, let's wrap it up here. You gave us a good 25 minutes. I appreciate your time tonight. And I can't wait to see you on the summit.
Yeah, can I leave one thing?
100%.
Yeah, come be a part of it. Like Zeky just mentioned, being live. Come join us live. Like you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what question or breakthrough you might have by asking the right question. For me, literally, I truly believe my group grew so quickly because I became part of a summit and the One Funnel Away challenge. They got to interview me on the last day of that challenge, and the recordings were seen by, I don't know about millions, but it's probably millions of people that saw my interview or saw my contribution to that live session that day. So I'm so grateful I showed up live. So show up live. You never know who you're going to meet, and you'll be a part of these recordings that Zeky's going to be, I'm sure, putting out there in the internet, and it's going to grow, and you can grow with that too from just being seen. So I think that's something really cool.
For sure. And by the way, for anyone who's stuck, because I see a couple of you stuck all the way till the end, I want to know who was here the whole time.
Yeah.
Drop a hashtag still here. I see another question just came in, and I think it's a question for me, but I guess for both of us, because we can also answer it specifically for Doug's session. But yes, so Facebook user doesn't show me who it is. I think Cindy. Just saw it on my phone. So Cindy asked us, can we actually ask her questions live on the summit? Absolutely. That's why it's a live summit. So you'll have the opportunity during the sessions to ask questions. Obviously, it depends on the timing of the session. Some speakers, their training might go a little bit longer. Some have there'll be enough time for the questions. So if for some reason the session's running a little really late, then that session might not get to answer so many questions. However, I purposely, if you look at the schedule, you'll see I put a heck of a lot of buffer time between each of the sessions to make sure that all of the sessions, for the most part, should have ample time for Q&A. And Doug can answer us because Doug's the one who prepared his training. He knows how long it's going to go for, so he can tell us if there will be enough time for Q&A with him.
Yeah, this is why I give the challenge toolkit, because there's so much that I love talking about. So I'll find out from all of you the day of, like, where do you want to really dive into? If you haven't done challenges before, maybe we start with the idea of a challenge and go into the topic, the naming convention, the daily agendas, and how to structure it. If there's a lot of people that have done challenges, we could dive into higher level things like gamification, promoting and filling your event, how to make it repeatable. So whatever we spend time on, I'll gift the rest of the training. That way I don't have to teach all of it in that session. We'll just dive into the nuances that you want to learn most about. So definitely want to spend a lot of time on Q&A.
For sure. Sounds good. Awesome. I see Shelly also asked where can you get the full schedule for the summit? I sent it out by email this morning. I know you registered a while back, so you should have gotten it. Check your email. Look for the emails from me. Should be sitting in there. But worst case scenario, if you don't already have it, I will be sending out a link to a page that you can go to very soon where it will have all of the sessions. So just keep an eye out in your email. That's the main avenue of communication for the summit. If you've registered for your ticket, then you've gotten the emails. If you haven't registered for your ticket, then go to the link in the caption of this video and go secure your ticket, and you'll get all the stuff you need by email. Alrighty, so I think that wraps up all of our questions for tonight. Doug, thanks again for joining us, man. Really appreciate your time here. Appreciate you taking the time to put all the stuff together for the summit, and also appreciate your generosity with giving away your toolbox for everyone who comes and attends.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it. Thanks for having me, Zeky. Thanks for all being here today. We'll see you on the summit, everyone.
All right, take care, and take care, everybody watching. Talk to you soon.